On this episode of ResiWeek, Bowers & Wilkins has been purchased by AVNation. What exactly is the value in smart appliances? Plus, Cedia has a brand new program to help integrators figure out exactly how profitable they are. All that and more, next on ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 15, recorded Monday, May 9th, 2016. Don't make me think. ResiWeek is brought to you by our fine group of underwriters, companies like Milestone AV. This is ResiWeek, the weekly look at the residential and home market for the audiovisual industry. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. With us this week, my buddy pal, and oh yeah, by the way, he runs Cedia. His name is Vin Bruno. How are you, sir?
I'm terrific, Tim. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Also with us, from the other side of the country, her name is Delia Hansen. She's my arch rival when it comes to sports, but she's very nice, so be cool to her. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Delia is a Packers fan and a Hawks fan, so that way, you know, she's the exact opposite of what I am. Last but not least, first time up for him. His name is Henry Clifford. He is from Live Wire. How are you, sir?
Hey, Tim. Thanks for having me. Great
Absolutely.
to be here.
And if you're watching the video, no, Henry is not driving while he is video conferencing with us.
No driving, just parked.
He's
It's all good.
stationary. I'd like to say it's the first time that we've had that happen, but it's not. So I'm not saying it's common occurrence. I'm just saying it's not the first time. And that's the nice thing about, you know, technology and what we do. All right. First and foremost, from our buddy Ted Green over at strategy.com. Bowers, and what on earth did he do? He's got an ad going on here. I'll have to talk to him about that. Bowers & Wilkins announced this morning that they have been acquired by AVNation. EVA is a Silicon Valley-based technology company founded 2 years ago by Gideon Yu. Oh, yeah, he also owns the Niners. So there's that. So basically, in a roundabout way, and to continue the sports analogies, Bowers & Wilkins is now owned by the Niners. That's kind of cool. Then we'll start with you. This is not the first acquisition that's come out of the world of audiovisual in the last month. It's not going to be the last, let's be honest. So This one specifically, and then maybe some overarching. What does this mean for the folks who are putting in B&W?
I think it's a great thing. First of all, Gideon Yu, he's open.
Yeah.
You know, he had a terrific interview with. Julie had the opportunity to interview him, and he wants to be very visible to our industry. So we're looking forward to seeing him at our show. So he's an enthusiast. He's an audiovisual enthusiast, and I think that he's going to drive quality in the organization. What I love is that Evo Automation now becomes Bowers & Wilkins. So you know, the name of the new organization is B&W, and it's still led by the same folks at B&W. Nothing is changing. Their product roadmap is the same, but now they've got more visibility behind them. So, you know, the owner. This is what's really cool. The owner of the 49ers is now Bowers & Wilkins. So how cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Delia, kind of the same question along the same lines is what does this do for the industry? And not for nothing, but there have been multiple pieces written about trying to raise the level of vision that the market as a whole, the population as a whole, you know, has about AV, right? Whether that's trying to get into Best Buy or you know, getting exposure at CES or what have you. Having somebody of this level, and you is very great and wants to be open. What does that do for, obviously, Bowers & Wilkins, but also for the industry as a whole, and getting somebody with that level of exposure, I guess?
I think it raises the level of legitimacy for us as a market space. A lot of times people look at us as just being the tweaky people who are into esoteric type stuff, and we're the mad scientists who make things work. But the desire from the community to actually own products that make our lives better, both through entertainment, comfort, convenience, safety, security, all these different aspects. With the brands that we currently have, we've done a really good job in very specific areas. Like BMW is a great speaker. And how do you translate that into an experience that fits in your entire home and every aspect of your home system? Bringing that together with an automation company is a really neat bridge, because you're taking something that's already known as a great entity and combining it with a future. He wants to reimagine home automation. So you can, I mean, what does that mean? We don't even know, but we've got money behind it. We've got a driving force behind it. And now we have this massive legitimacy behind it. So it's just going to elevate everything for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Henry, from your standpoint and from an integration standpoint, an integrator's standpoint, what does this do for not just for your relationship with BMW, but also for kind of getting your clients familiar with kind of what you do, and probably not your existing ones, but new ones as they learn about you?
Sure. Well, I mean, certainly there's a lot of nostalgia for BMW, and also it's a very aspirational brand. So it's going to be interesting too, because I felt over the last few years there'd been some moves from BMW that we thought we'd never see. We didn't think we'd see BMW in big box. We didn't think we'd see BMW in some of making some of the SKUs that they ended up making. So I think from an integrator dealer perspective, it gives BMW a chance to hit the reset button a little bit with their dealer base. And we'll see sort of what's next. So there's that sort of uncertainty and that sort of momentum that can build from the announcement of a deal like this. But on the flip side, or just another way to look at it, anytime you see investment, the guys that I talk to who are BMW dealers, other folks in my buying group and around the country, nobody's plowing money into a company that doesn't want it back at some point.
True, absolutely.
So it's going to be interesting to see the strategy, and are they going to back our channel? Are they going to back the sort of traditional CEDIA world and not and sort of resist the temptation to big box some more? So those unknowns are certainly interesting to ponder right now. But I think the biggest opportunity for them right now is to hit the reset button with the brand, which again is very aspirational and has just got a ton of momentum behind it.
No, that's very cool. And I think to Ven's point, I mean, the fact that you is already reaching out to people like Julie Jacobson at CE Pro. Julie's been in this business a long time. She knows a ton of people, and for that side of it, to be willing to talk to Julie is absolutely great and a great first step. So,
and if I can add,
absolutely.
Tim, the leadership behind the new Bowers and Wilkins, these folks have led Yahoo and Facebook. So the fact that they know how to create awareness for our industry is huge. Because right now, Henry, I think our biggest problem is that, too many of our home technology professionals rely on word of mouth, for their sales. And this is the kind of component that we need to drive mainstream media to our industry, so that there's an awareness where homeowner clients know who to find and why. So,
and they certainly have a pulpit to do that from right now.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Up next this is something that we've talked about a couple times, and thank God for CNET for providing us fodder. But CNET, a number of months ago, they bought a house specifically to try to turn it into a smart home. And they've written several pieces, and we'll put a link to this one specifically, and you can go back and see the different things they've done. They've done locks, they've done coffee pots, stuff like this. The one that they posted this week actually kind of got me, because it's a good question in general, I think. Maybe it's the fact that I just walked through an IKEA a couple weeks ago and saw all their wonderful kitchens and their appliances. But here's the question for them, or from CNET. And Delia, I'm going to start with you just because Claire Controls does a lot of control and automation, and so we'll kick it off with you on this. They talk about a number of smart appliances, and let's kind of clarify appliance. We're talking about ranges. We're talking about refrigerators, devices that are big and bulky, and something you don't necessarily associate with the word smart or connected, right? They looked at Whirlpools, they looked at LGs, GEs. Samsung also has a line of them as well. My question is, do we need a connected appliance? Do we need a connected refrigerator? And if so, what I guess why? And if not, why? I mean, why are they out there then?
That is the exact question that CNET came to at the end.
Yes.
They were looking at the refrigerator and range, and they're like, we literally will tell you, we don't think you should buy any of these.
Yep.
Stick with smaller appliances that try to do one or two things. And then the guy in it actually alluded to the fact that there's a few smart devices you can add to your dumb refrigerator to get the information that they were looking for, which was expiration date, what needs to be reordered, and that kind of deal. And that the manufacturers themselves are kind of throwing mud on a wall to see what sticks right now. You know, what features are consumers going to actually want to employ? And then again, the last part, the lady had mentioned that the stove, although $3,000, wasn't a particularly good stove. So it's Wi-Fi enabled, and you can preheat it while you're on your way home, which I would find completely unnerving for me because I have a kid. So I don't want to do anything with my stove that I can't see myself doing while I'm doing it. So there are some things about it that really make me nervous as a consumer, not just thinking about the technology. And I almost have to agree with the fact that there's probably going to be a few things you can add to just normal dumb appliances that will make them smart enough to do the 2 or 3 things that you really want, which is not have milk go bad. Yep. And reorder milk and eggs when they're gone, so you come home and they're there. But I think Amazon's trying to do that with the little tags that they've got. So
the buttons, yes.
Yeah, the buttons. Once you're on a Tide, you just tap the button and new Tide comes on Tuesday.
I tell you what, I'm going to ask a question really quick about the stove, but we'll go back to the buttons. Would it make a difference if it, depending on the type of stove? Let's focus on that for a second, right? Because there's a difference between a gas stove and an electric stove, right? I mean, there are certain inherent dangers. If the pilot light is out or what have you, obviously you have a gas, a leak problem happening. Would that make you feel better or not?
Well, that definitely wouldn't make me feel good. But this was preheating the oven itself.
Well, I know, but if it was electric oven versus a gas oven, would the electric make you feel better or no? Absolutely not. No preheating, nothing. If I'm not home.
Oh, I just don't know. I don't want to preheat if I'm not there.
I'm trying to gauge your level of your risk to benefit.
Risk to benefit.
Yes.
And that's what consumers are going to do. They're going to weigh the risk to benefit. And right now, seeing as the manufacturer hasn't been able to identify the benefit to really start exploiting it, the measurement really skews to the side of you're either going to have just early adopters, people who just want something that's cool, and I think they'll get better. It will be identifying where the need is. I think personally for smart appliances, sensors become much more important than the actual appliance itself, like sensing whether or not something has gone bad or is missing, or if the range is on. That's important to me.
That's important.
Did I leave the coffee pot on or the stove on and leave the house? So I think that they really need to figure out what's going to be important to people instead of what might be. Like, we're just not there yet.
No, and I think you're right. They're just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. So, Henry, from your standpoint and the clients that you talk to, is this something that they're looking at or looking forward? Are they trying to be early adopters, like Delia said, or are they just kind of holding back and waiting to see what rises to the surface?
Yeah, a couple of scenarios we've been faced with over the past few years. One is in the assistive technology space. Customers we have maybe who are in wheelchairs or they can't, or they have challenges some other way, physical challenges, right? Well, they'll ask for remote control over their stove or their oven, and up until this point, it's our stance has been exactly and will continue to be exactly what Delia is saying, which is, man, you imagine if something goes wrong with that remote capability. The closest we've come is there's a company out there called Cookstop, which makes a gadget which is a motion sensor that actually inline plugs with the stove. It's got a motion sensor. If you're not around the stove, it shuts the thing off. But I think the manufacturers are ignoring the things that we really want to understand about our appliances, which are they running optimally? Are we getting the performance out of our appliances that we'd like? When are and some of the article speaks to some of the filters running low and things like that. But we went into a kitchen design center a few years ago when Control4 and Wolf and Sub-Zero partnered on a driver to allow Wolf and Sub-Zero control, and we installed it and it worked, but there was no adoption because there really wasn't a scenario where anybody found it useful. But the scenarios where we find it useful, if you look at the car, I happen to be sitting in one, right? That's a good leading indicator of where these manufacturers should be focusing. I want to know if the engine's not running well. I don't want to know if the fridge needs service, etc. Those basic sensors delivering feedback, that's where we should start. Not I put this sort of fancy scenario, this movie we've seen over and over and over again, where you put a frozen turkey in the morning and somehow magically you're remote controlling it from Junior's baseball game. That movie has played over and over and over again. I've seen this same run at it for the last 10 years, and I just don't see that particular aspect of it catching hold. But we do need performance data, and that we can automate around from these appliances, including HVAC systems.
I completely agree with Henry. Like, when it comes down to what do I really want to know about my refrigerator, did my kid leave the refrigerator door open?
Bingo.
Like, am I suddenly losing cool because the door is...
And can you close it? Right?
Yeah, sure. That would be nice, just being able to just re-shut the door.
Or even better, you left the door open, I shut it for you. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
There you go, even better.
Don't make me think.
Right. Well, I'd like to interject. Our opportunity as an industry is that anything that can be connected will be connected, and there's nothing easy about connecting to a home's Wi-Fi network. So even though today we have these, the introduction of these connected appliances, we don't really know what the use is for these appliances. But you know what? Within the next 5 years, it'll actually be cheaper for these appliance manufacturers to make connected devices than it would be without them. So, how we use them, that's the future will tell. But for us as an industry, I think connected appliances are a great opportunity. And yes, I agree with you about sensors. And, my excitement is that sensors are getting better, and that one inexpensive sensor can detect multiple things like gas leaks.
No, absolutely. All right, guys. One last story here before I let you get out of here, and we're going to talk about Cedia here. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about Cedia before we do that. Then, real quickly, and there's not really a story here. Just the fact that your awards, the deadline for the awards have been extended.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not familiar with the Cedia awards, Cedia first and foremost is happening in September of this year. It's in Dallas, so we'll put a link up to how you register for the show if you're going, or if you're not going, you get to see Delia there. So that right there is absolutely worth the plane fare to Dallas. And not just Delia, but actually, I met Delia actually last year at Cedia, and Claire has one of the coolest integrations with Amazon Echo that I have ever seen. And currently to date, what I've seen is probably one of the best home automation integrations with Amazon Echo. So that's why you should go. But you sent me something, right? And I've got to figure out a way to make this happen on this episode's page. But you sent me something about the Profit Action Plan.
Right.
First of all, what is a Profit Action Plan? And if I'm a member of Cedia, how do I get in on it?
Right. So there's a link, research. You can email research@cedia.org, and we'll send you everything that you need to know. The Profit Action Plan is for member home technology professionals, and it allows you just it takes 30 minutes to complete the survey, which then allows for a comparison of how your business is doing compared to other home technology professional firms, how you're doing relative to strategic and business planning, financial management, operations, project management, marketing, and sales. And, the key to it, it's a $2,500 study if you were to go out and try and do it on your own. This way you have the benefit of your entire community and how you compare to it. So it's one of our member benefits.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do is take from Henry's side, what are the benefits of doing that, right? What are the benefits of comparing yourself to others and comparing your profitability to others in your same industry and at your same level?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thanks to Cedia for taking steps in this direction. We have been benchmarking against other folks in the industry, sort of with an industry consultant for the last 6 years, and then we do the benchmarking survey. But at the end of the day, the benefit is you get to see how you're doing versus other companies in different markets, and it's stunning how fragmented of an industry we are. Don't quote me, but I think the average Cedia company is sort of a 1 to 2 man shop doing less than 500,000 in top line. And so in those different revenue levels, there are these sort of no man's lands, or as an entrepreneur, where you realize that what got you to a certain point is not going to get you to the next stage. So you leave the dock hoping that the light at the end of the tunnel isn't in fact a freight train coming straight at you. So the survey results enable you to say, hey, wow, I'm getting $160,000 revenue per employee. We should really be at $200,000 per employee. Hey, wait, look, here's a company that's doing that. Let me call up this person, and let's share information. And in fact, Cedia just last year launched Cedia Groups, which takes it to the next step, where you can take your survey data and join a group where you're with other companies which are doing sort of a range of revenue above and below you, to get together once a month, share information, learn from each other, and work on your businesses, so that over and over and over again, you're not coming up with the same problems. You fix one problem, you move on, and before you know it, I joined a roundtable group like this 8 years ago here in Richmond, and we're 6 times the size we were when we joined because of benchmarking, because of comparing data.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Yeah. And the groups have been terrific. So the groups that Cedia groups that Henry describes, they're not competitive situations. You're able to talk to somebody in a different region and talk about your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Delia, from your standpoint, and how do you, because you and I talked about, I think the last time you were on, about your integration, poor use of that word, about your partnership with a bunch of home builders, right? How do you get folks, like Henry, to talk to you, integrator to manufacturer, and to get you to help them, right? Not for nothing, but you've been in the industry for a few years, and you know your stuff, and you know what you're talking about. How do you get them to open up to you and help? Let them help you help them, I guess.
Help me help them.
Yes, exactly.
Let me help you.
Yes.
You end up having to do it. Like, just be with them in the room, go through it once, and just prove that there's a method to our madness. And closing a sale using the actual tools of the sale. Like, if you go through it from beginning to end the right way, generally speaking, you close a sale. You don't cut corners, you don't skip things, you do a presentation, you make it polished, you build a proposal, and then the next time you do it the exact same way, and you keep rolling it out that way. It's just like talking to your peers. It's finding out what's working across the board and doing that instead of continually reinventing the wheel. Vin, I am so proud of you, because you've done everything that I've been hoping you would do with Cedia, and the idea behind building a single organization so that we all get to say the same thing and we have the same message and it's a safe place for consumers to come and find qualified people. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen when you took over the group. So I'm really glad to see this survey coming out. For me, I sit down and have a business conversation with each dealership who's looking at Claire, because Claire is a business decision, not a emotional choice.
Okay.
If you choose to do Claire, you're doing it for a specific reason, to go after the mainstream market, to change the way that you go after a new client, and looking at the lifetime value of the client, not so much the initial sale. Because I'm not going to get you 10 grand up front. I'm going to get you 10 grand over 10 years and an RMR and additional profit that way. So when you talk to a new dealer and say, is this for you? You have to sit down and say, all right, how many jobs do you do? How many guys do you have in the field? How many home touches do you have annually? What's your average ticket sale? Do you have the ability to bring that, double it, triple it, quadruple it, even in some cases make it 10 times the amount? Because you're talking to a builder, and the builder's doing 600 homes per year. That's a lot of home touches compared to what you might do when you do 6 to 10 jobs per year.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a completely different business model. So as you sit there with them, you have to really find out if they're going to devote what they need to turn their business into a profitable way to do these style of homes. And after that complete conversation, then you just say, I'm going to go in with you. I'm going to be right there by your side. We're going to pitch the builder together. And when the builder says yes, I'm going to be right there by your side with the design center to help close those first consumers. And I'm going to be right there to help you make sure you get your first installations done properly. So by the time you get to home 25, this is like clockwork for you.
You make me want to sell Claire, and I'm
Amen, Delia. Amen.
I got a new buddy. Henry, you're my new friend.
Delia, you make friends so easily.
That
You're
is
so
true. She
lovable.
does.
And he loves hockey.
And he loves hockey. That's a plus too.
So Tim, I
Yes.
want to talk about the awards,
Yeah.
and to share with with your audience what we've done differently this year. Okay, in the past, the CEDIA banquet was held after the show was over, on the Saturday night after the show was over. What we've changed is that now it's the CEDIA Awards and Celebration, and it will take place during the first night of the show. So now the awards have moved to Thursday night.
Okay.
And Carly Knobloch, the TV personality technologist for HGTV, will be providing the awards. What we wanted to do is make it a more celebratory event for our home technology professionals and manufacturers, submitting for their products and their installations. And we're also driving mainstream media. That's why I love Gideon Yu and B&W and all of the visibility that they're giving us. But what we're doing is the award celebration will be at Gillies. It's open to everyone attending the show. There'll be drinks at first, right? You socialize having some drinks. There'll be 30 minutes of awards with Carly Knobloch. Then we go to eating and networking the rest of the evening. So It's one big party. Everyone's invited.
Huge game changer, Vin. Huge.
Awesome. I can go home.
Yeah, that's right. You could go home, but the very next couple of days, the winners will be celebrating their awards with their peers.
Yeah.
And what we're looking to do is getting the winners interviewed with mainstream media.
And that's huge. That absolutely is huge, because you're right. There's, to Delia's point, she kind of have joked. I mean, there's a lot of us media yahoos who went home on Saturday, right? I mean, I would do, in the last few years of covering CEDIA, you do your interviews, and then by 3 or 4 o'clock, you were jumping on a plane so you could get home, right, Delia? For folks who were sponsoring it or exhibiting, members of the board and people who were nominated for the awards, they would stick around, have fun, and this, that, and the other. Now we get to do it beforehand, and we get to, I say we, I'm not winning an award, but somebody is.
Right.
You get to hang out and celebrate with your friends. I like that. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I really like that we're going to talk to the people who won. Why did you win? Why is this so awesome? What are you doing to make these projects happen? How are you closing these clients? How are you keeping your profit? But like, that's the important part. At the end of the day, you're just like, yep, here you go. Here's your award. Congratulations, you won something. And no one hears about it or talks about it again.
Very frustrating. And Delia, I've sat through the CEDIA banquets for many, many years with you. We've danced a little bit, at some of them. And while they were fun, you're going to see a big difference. This has now moved away from being a stodgy banquet to a real celebration.
Very cool. All right. Well, if you're interested, you can obviously go to cedia.org to find out about the expo. Register for it if you're going. Again, you get to meet Delia and become her friend because it's very easy. She's very nice. So, all right, guys, I'll let you go. It's a Monday, so we all have stuff to do. Mr. Van Bruno, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
How can people find out about find you or find out about you or CEDIA?
Always feel free to call me at 201-621-1409. Reach me at vbruno@cedia.org. I'm accessible, and I love to talk to people.
Incredibly accessible. Probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met in AV in general. Just known him been a long time. All right, Henry, thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Not too bad for your first time.
Thanks.
In a car. How can people find you or Livewire?
Livewire's at www.getlivewire.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, and anyway, we're around all the trade shows as well. And we're right here in Richmond. Come check us out.
Come check them out in Richmond, Virginia. So, and last but not least, Miss Delia Hanson. Thank you, ma'am.
Always a pleasure.
And how can people find you and Claire Controls?
Me, I'm at Delia_Hansen. That's my Twitter handle. You can find me there. And then our webpage, the best one to go to for builder information, clairecontrols.com/builder. And you can check out the program, how it works. And if you want any more information, just fill out the form at the end.
All right, very good. My name is Tim Albright, but don't follow me. Go by the website. Lots of smart people put a lot of hard work into it. I wasn't one of them, but other people did. AVNation.tv, AVNation.tv. You'll find this program and a host of others. We have a weekly commercial AV look, again, half an hour. We call it AV Week. It happens on Fridays. This one happens on Mondays. We have education, social media, and marketing, and a host of others. Right now, we're gearing up for InfoComm 2016, so we'll have some information there. And as soon as June 11th hits, which is the day after InfoComm, we'll start gearing up for CEDIA. It's kind of how that whole thing works. So AVNation.tv, AVNation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. This has been ResiWeek.